to another episode of Chatterbox with me, Mel Biggs. This is the podcast where I get to sit down and interview some of my favourite players and educators from across the UK and Europe. This month I am joined by Benjamin Mack. He's a Frenchman living in Belgium and he's a jazz percussionist, a trombone player, probably loads of other things that I don't know about, but mostly I know him for his accordion and his footbass playing. I met him last November in Halsey Manor when he came across to teach on the Advanced Melodeon week with Filippo Gambetta. And when I got to know Ben, there was no way I was going to be leaving him out of my guest tutor series on Patreon, so I signed him up to come and teach a Melodeon for me over on my Patreon, which I'll leave the link to that down below so you can go and check that out. I sat down with Ben last week just before he taught the Melodeon, and we must have chosen the hottest day of the year so far. We were absolutely sweltering, me in my upstairs bedroom and him in his attic out in Belgium. I got to talk to him a lot more about his Baroque music with Birgit Bournauw, which is his wife and partner, his Ciné-concert de Poche, which is a silent movie project that he's been doing for the last 15 years, various theatre projects, and of course I couldn't not talk to him about the footbass. He's the whole reason that I got into it in the first place. He's the whole reason that I've been blaming him ever since. I found out lots more about that fascinating instrument and also his involvement in its revival, so you'll hear all about that. And I think what comes across most sincerely from our conversation is his dedication to connection both with himself and his music and the audiences that he performs for, but also him as a teacher in front of his ensembles and his musician students at the academy where he works. So without much further ado, I'm really excited to introduce you to Benjamin Mack. Hello Benjamin, welcome to the podcast. How are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm pretty happy to see you and to spend that time with you.
Yeah, this is going to be really good fun. I'm really looking forward to getting to know you more because we haven't known each other that long, although it seems like we've known of each other for longer than we've known each other, if that makes sense. I was just saying off camera how lovely it was to be reminded. I was emailed by one of your colleagues, Danielle, about a project or about my tune book or something a few years ago. And it seems that you're still working alongside her with the ensemble, and I've just watched some videos of you working with her huge or massive orchestra. It must be, I don't know, 30 odd people or more. How many people do you work with?
Yeah, it's about 50 musicians. It's a great project because Danielle is she's not professional, you know. She's just old teacher, retired, and she played accordion for many years, maybe 40 years, yeah. Wow. And she gave a lot of lessons in where she lives in Otsawa, you know, in the Alps, in the mountains.
Yeah.
And just after giving the lessons, she made this group very pretty big with an half of the group with boxes with accordions, and it's a lot of middle-aged, old, grannies playing
people
accordion.
Who have the time, right? The pensioners that have the time.
Yeah. So I give some workshops there, and I make some arrangements, and for sometimes a week, during a week, it's a great project. Yeah.
So are you regularly teaching ensembles? I realise that it is something that you do, but is it something that you're doing regularly and in academies and teaching in that kind of sense?
Yeah. I live in Belgium, in Tournai. It's a small city on the border with France, and there is a conservatory, a music academy, and we create a folk department 3 years ago with my wife Birgit Bournauw, who plays the bagpipes, and a colleague who was named Benjamin Meunier for Hurdy-Gurdy 2 years ago. So we are the folk department of Tournai. We created it. Brilliant. And so we have around 45 students there, 24 for accordion. So it's great, and I give one day per week listen there, and I'm musician on stage. That's my job, and I give a lot of workshops when I play a concert or Balfolk. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it's nice to hear that you have the variety, as all of my other guests so far have had, in that sense of you have the solidity in your diary of knowing that you're doing that once a day and then you once a week, and then you have everything else that you bring to the table with your performances and your bands. So yeah, tell me a little bit more about the groups that you're currently playing with. I obviously know of trio Shillelagh and
Yeah.
the duo with Birgit, but what else are you doing? And
So yeah, Shillelagh is a Balfolk group. We play together for 22 years now. We were pretty young, and so yeah, that's great. We play all over Europe. Um, with Birgit, we play Baroque music. So it's a duo bagpipes and Baroque music. You know, there's a small Baroque bagpipes who were played at Versailles. Just a pretty bagpipes, and we play together for many concerts everywhere. And we also play together a Balfolk with a lot of Baroque dances. That's a new project together. And
nice.
for that project, we work with a Spanish, not Spanish, from Catalonia, you know, Catalans the dancer who's called Ana Romani from Barcelona, and she's a great Baroque dancer. And she also dance Catalan's traditional dances, so she know the Balfolk very well, and she made a mix between Baroque dances and folk dances to create a new Balfolk. We called it le bal imaginaire, the
Imaginary
dream
ball.
bar,
Yeah.
imaginary bar, yeah. And we made the premiere this month, so it's a great idea, I think.
Completely new. How did it
Yeah.
go down? Is it something that people are familiar with? I'm guessing not. Like they're not familiar with these
No,
dances.
no, but the our work was to create some dances with Baroque elements. For example, you have a minuet that's very with a lot of details, and so we just took the more important things from the dance, the rhythm, the most important elements, but to make a real folk dance with the Baroque elements. So people who don't used to dance Baroque dances had no problem at all. It's just like a folk dance. It's also technical. You have to learn some new techniques, but it's the same with every folk dances.
Yeah, that's so interesting. It all that's going through my head is the thought that it must be similar in a way to Playford dancing here in England, which is the very old ancient, if you were to think of English country dancing way back when, these
Yeah,
tunes were written in the 1700s and beyond then.
yeah,
That's what I'm thinking. And there is a revival here in England for Playford dance, but
yeah. Mm.
there's a group called Zesty Playford, because it's not just your typical kind of, po-faced kind of poncing around a room, basically. It's a bit more like a ceilidh. They've tried to
Yeah,
take
yeah,
elements of what people would know from a ceilidh, so people, and blend
yeah.
it with the
Yeah, it's
ancient
pretty the
dance.
same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
Mhm.
hope it takes off. That sounds really interesting.
I think so. Yeah.
Your background is in jazz percussion, or percussion with jazz and that kind of thing. I've read online, like myself, you started
Yeah.
accordion at 18, as
Yeah.
did I, and I've interviewed Pascal Rubens already, same story. So, we're kind of all in the same 18
Yeah.
accordion club.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, and Paul, also Sophie Cave, where yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
yeah.
I'm just thinking, how did Baroque music become something that you did or took an interest in? Because with Birgit, there's such a wealth of repertoire that you two have put together. And the
Yeah.
accordion sounds so perfect in that, with all of the different lines, the basso continuo that you can create. And I want to talk more about the foot bass in itself, but obviously with
Yeah.
the foot bass in there as well.
Yeah.
What was your kind of interest in that to begin with?
Yeah. Also studied musicology, you know, so it's only learning about all about music and music history. And for me, Baroque music was pretty boring. Like yeah, the clang, 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 and oh, very boring. But since then, I listen to very nice, maybe younger musicians also we who take this music to a new way to play, very communicative and very more also more for the dance. Yeah, I took that from Birgit. She studied Baroque music with a Baroque musette. So she were also a beautiful musician with that repertoire. So she teach that to me. So I learned to like this music and now to love this music. It's very soft, very elegant. I found also a lot of details that I play in folk music. For example, a lot of variations with very short melody, short tune, a lot of variations, ornamentations, the way to play for the dance. That's very Baroque music is a cousin of folk music for me. So play it with my accordion. I'm not a Baroque musician because I play the accordion. So I'm free to play it very.
You can make it your own.
Yeah, I can take some elements from the style, from everything. It's very interesting. But if I want to play it too fast or in the different way, or to put some ornamentations from Italian music on French Baroque music, I do it. Just I find it's okay. It's beautiful like that. I do it.
Is this where you got your title from? It's Baroque to my ears because you
Yeah,
can just it's you can get away
yeah,
with
it
it.
sounds Baroque. Yeah. Also, sometimes a song or music from Sweden. Of yeah, it's not really Baroque, but it sounds Baroque to my ears. So we took it to make a repertoire. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the second album was curly music. Curly is the curly, but
Yeah.
also early music. So it's a kind of
Okay.
yeah.
So curly
It
early
wasn't evident.
music.
Curly early music. Yeah, it wasn't evident. I was proud of my joke, but it's not evident.
Oh, so sorry. I saw curly music and I thought, is that their record label but I wish I
Yeah,
had
yeah,
maybe like thought about that a bit more because it is clever.
yeah. Thank you.
So
But it's a
apologies for
way.
not getting that.
No problem. So curry is also a way to navigate between genres and kind of musics, and yeah, that's our second repertoire. And the third one is now the dance repertoire with
Yeah.
Baroque music.
So we've talked about your Baroque music interest, and I know with Birgit that you work together on some theatre projects, but you also have quite a few to your own name and you're working with other theatre makers. I would love to know so much more because I looked at the discography, the list of projects that you've done,
Yeah.
and cinema and theatre seem to take up quite a lot of your time. So can you
Yes.
tell us, like, when did that first theatre passion start?
Yeah. So yeah, it's a big part of my job is to play for silent movies. So a show between movies and music. And when I was younger, I played a lot for Balfolk with several groups, and I was thinking it's too much for me. It will be maybe boring in a few years to only play for Balfolk and for dance. So I want to play for concert also, but I was young and not sure of myself. So playing for a movie was a way to play alone, to play a concert, but with something to help me to do that. I was a bit shy about playing alone. So I started in 20 years ago to play with a movie. The first one was a movie from Fritz Lang, Fritz Lang, the German producer from the 20s.
Yeah.
I played one long movie from Fritz Lang. It was a show of 1 hour and 40 minutes with loops and effect pedals and several accordions. I was alone. It was pretty long, and I learned a lot with that project. In French, we call that ciné-concert. Ciné, movie, and concert. Ciné-concert was always for I don't know the word, but too intellectual, for some, not for everybody. I wasn't okay with that, so I create a ciné-concert really for everybody. I call that the Ciné-concert de Poche, so the pocket
In the pocket.
movie concert. And I met a collectioner of film, old film, so with the spool and the real film on 16 millimeter projectors. I bought a projector and some short movies, and I started to play with that kind of way to make ciné-concert. I played that now for 15 years. I played hundreds of ciné-concert de Poche since then, and I met every kind of audience, young, old, in the jails, in the school, in the libraries, everywhere. And for me, what the best way to share this repertoire of old movies and also my accordions, my music. So it's very nice. And since 15 years, I create some others film movie concerts. Sometimes with other musicians. The last one is with a pianist. We made a ciné concert about family films. I made one with the storyteller. I made one for a big harmony orchestra that we will
Wow.
play next year. So it's a lot of way to mix movie and music and to show my instrument with that.
So is there any, I'm assuming you're writing the music for this, either improvising it from scratch or you have a written score. But is there any history that you know of the score that would have been played with these old films, or that's just completely
Mm,
lost?
No, there wasn't any score. For the movies from the 20s, for example, there are no scores. Sometimes in Russia, there was some composer like Shostakovich. Charlie Chaplin composed some tune from his film, but for his first film from the years 40, 15, 16, there are no music. So I'm free to play my own music. For each film, I used to say improvisation is not an improvisation. Just you improvise to get some input, some ideas that you prepare at home, and when you play for the audience, you have to call your improvisations and to play it. But it's a bit prepared. I'm free because I'm alone to play, but for each film, I have my own ideas, some tunes that I can play, some effect that I have prepared at home, but I'm free to interpret it freely. Yeah.
How long does it take you typically, like with some of the older films that you've watched? What is it about the storyline, or like what's your interest in that history of it, and your now modernization of your interpretation with the music score? Like how
Yeah,
does that, where does that crossover, where does that come from? Was it something from childhood that you've always been interested in old stuff, or like, or moving film, has that always been of interest to you, or?
yeah. I wasn't a very big movie fan. Just I met this collectioner and to put the spool on the projector and to project Charlie Chaplin movies. That was so magical.
It
So I
really
was
is, isn't
like
it?
a child. Wow,
Yeah.
nice. And to share that kind of cinema, that's for me, like magic. And the machine is automatic, a lot of things, and the sound. That's very nice to see. Now I appreciate the that cinema that they invent in all the jokes, the gags from now. They were very imaginative and very strong with that. And for a movie, sometimes it's very easy to accompany. It's okay, it's evident, and I can just improvise and then a bit from improvisation. I take some few notes and I can compose a real tune. Sometimes it's more difficult. I don't know why, but some movies are very more difficult to accompany because maybe there are a lot of details that you want to show. My job is to maybe to put my fingers on that effect or
Yeah,
uh,
kind of
I
highlight the
want
details.
just to show look at that, okay, or to prepare some something.
Sorry to interrupt. Just really quickly wanted to let you know that there's been a section edited out of this free public podcast. It goes into more detail about Ben's process of improvising around an audience reaction and the musical ideas that he has in the cinema, and also various other conversations that I've had to shave down to get under the hour. I wanted to let you know that you could get that via the extended podcast, which is available via my Patreon, where you get about 10 minutes extra content. You can get this extended podcast and all of the others for £4.50 a month. That is on the Chatterbox tier of my Patreon. Or if you sign up to the Archangel or the Archangel Plus tier, then you'll be able to get the guest tutor Melodeon, which is where they will do some teaching content. And this month Ben is doing one on fingering, phrasing and accents, so all about how to make your music a lot more musical. Check out the link in the description if you're interested in any of that. And now back to the interview. Do you have a preferred genre? Do you prefer comedies over romance, or do you do any thrillers or horrors or anything? Or
Yes, but that's that's not real horrors. It's always funny films with a part of
like jump scares?
Fake ghosts and maybe that genre is it's nice to accompany because I can make a lot of scary sounds and with the foot bass it's perfect for the scary movies.
Well, let's talk about this foot bass because
Yeah.
I have blamed you several times for
Yeah.
influencing me and bringing it over here. Me and my co-parent, my co-foot bass parent, Vicky, are having a wonderful time with it. We've named it Heinrich von Honk. And you very graciously sent me a link when I fell in love with yours at Halsey last November, and there happened to be one for sale by the same maker as yours. And actually, that is an interesting thing because there's not a lot of information about this chap online.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
can you tell us a little bit more about your foot bass and how it was made and the person behind that? Because it's
I can show it.
It's the same, well, different wood, but it's the same layout, I think, as the one
it's
that
the
we've
same,
got.
yeah.
And it's lovely. The buttons feel really nice underfoot because I've seen some different styles that just wouldn't peel. So yeah, if you want to see this, you can see it on the YouTube video, but audio, can you just give us a little honk of it just so we can hear it over the camera?
Yeah. So you have to play it with the feet normally, but I can make the sound with the fingers. Yeah,
Amazing.
it's very, very low.
It gives me the same reaction when I first heard this in November. So for those that don't know, I met Benjamin in person at Halsey Manor. He came across to teach on the Advanced Melodeon week with Filippo Gambetta. I have a vlog about that, so you can go and watch that and see all about that. People had told me from the previous time that you taught there, oh, he plays this thing called a foot bass. And I'm like, what's a foot bass? I'd never ever heard of one. And then you played it and I thought, that's hilarious. I've got to have a go. And you let me have a go. And then as soon as I put my foot on it and parked away, I thought, I have got to get one. They are just the funniest instrument. But the way that it vibrates through the foot, the whole sensory feeling of it was just phenomenal. So I'm really, really glad that I now own one. How long have you been playing it? And like, how did you like come across them?
Yeah, I think I played for 12 years now, but I'm pretty alone to play that. Now, not anymore because you play it. I'm very happy with that.
Well, then there's more people over here that I've since discovered. There are more people in France that I know play them, and they are a Belgian instrument. Is that correct? They're traditional Belgian.
It's a Belgian instrument. Yeah. It was invented at the end of 19th century in Namur. So it's a city in the French-speaking part of Belgium. It was the time when a lot of makers made all kinds of accordions. So it's a young instrument at the end of 19th century. So there are a lot of new way to make accordion, and the chromatic accordion was born at this at the beginning of the 20th century. So in Belgium, the new way to make accordion is a foot bass. That's from Monsieur Alexandri, Joseph Alexandri from Namur, and it was used in traditional music in Belgium. You can see some pictures with accordion orchestra. Yeah, it exists in Belgium with one of two foot basses, or a fiddler with a foot bass. But it was very short. It disappears during the Second World War. Yeah, there wasn't not any maker to make it. So 15 years ago, it still have no new instruments, only old ones, and very very tired. The bellow very
Yeah, I mean,
not
if they're
efficient anymore.
100 years old, they would be knackered.
Yeah, yeah. So I asked to an accordion maker in Belgium to make a new one for me. After 3 or 4 beers together, oh yes, super, it would be great to have a new one. And okay, we do that for you. And 3 years later, he called me. Okay, I completed it. It was not easy, but okay. He he was able to find some map with the plants, with the old instruments, also some reeds. But the most difficult thing was the bellow, because the bellow is not straight, but like a trapeze, you know.
Yeah, the shape is like a wooden box that you might assume a shruti box if you've seen that
Yeah,
before. It's
big
like a
one.
big shruti box, and it has the similar bellows in the sense that they only open and close from one point. So they are
Yeah.
closed at the back and then they open at the front. So they have like a trapezoid shape, and quite delicate mathematical process, I would imagine, that it takes to
Yeah.
build it.
And so he made the first one instrument for me. I tried it for during a few months, and I asked a second one with a few new elements, like new form of buttons, a new display, new setting of the notes, because it was not efficient. And he made also some new things to make the sounds, the attack of the sounds, the very low notes like the C. It's very long
It,
to get
yeah,
the,
takes it. I mean,
the
it's a
notes.
massive reed, isn't it? So it does
Yeah,
take a long
yeah.
time.
So he imagined some things to get it better. And now I play it, for 12 years, I think, and in many projects. And I'm not alone anymore.
So I didn't know that you had been part of its revival in such a big way. Are you the youngest, oldest person that plays one of these now? Do you know anybody from previous generations that still play them? Or
Yes, there are some old musicians from Belgium playing the foot bass, but with old instruments. Yeah, it exists, not that much, and and they don't play really as professional, and not sometimes not on a stage. So I think I'm one of the first to replay on that instrument. Yeah,
yeah, and
but
really just take it and put it on stage and show it off.
mm,
That's fantastic.
yeah, and make recording with that.
It sounds fantastic. Just thinking of the Duo album with the Baroque music, it is
Mm,
such a great texture to have in there, because it's just it's surprising to hear it. You think, accordion, bagpipes, whoa,
so,
what's that? And if you didn't know what you were playing, you'd think that there'd been some effect put on the accordion, but no, it's all that. I have given myself tendonitis by playing it really stupidly. And I realised that when I met you at Halsey, you had a very particular setup, with a piano stool that you were able to adjust the height of. And I did take note of that, but did I actually bother to do that when I got mine? No. So I was playing it with my legs
bam.
far too
Yeah.
forward,
Yeah,
and
yeah. And you hurt yourself. Yeah.
yeah, so it's all about the levers, isn't it? You've really got to think about the angle of your foot. So can you just tell us, could you inform me, educate me, what is the safe way to play this instrument so you don't damage your knees and your legs?
Yeah, I can't say it's very precisely, because I never teach that instrument to anybody. It was a project with my maker to create a workshop like Emmanuel Parizel did in Austria, to make accordions, but to make foot bass together, and just after that to have one day of workshop together with all the foot basses made the week before. But it's no, it was never happened. So that's a bit sad. But
It might
maybe,
work now, and now that there
yeah,
is more of a drive, with the
yeah. Maybe it's time to create that. Maybe in
well,
Austria it will be the best place to do that.
I volunteer. Like, I think,
Okay.
as promotional officer, I think
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like I've done a significant part. I've got a friend here who'd never heard of one. She's now got one through funding for a project that she's doing. So I think that there is this little chain reaction
Yeah, yeah.
happening. Let's
Maybe it
let's
will be
strike.
nice.
I'd love to
Yeah.
do that.
No, I never teach that, so I can't say precisely what to do. There is now a flute player in Brussels,
Is this Lydie Tonnard?
Edith Tonart. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's amazing, and she came at home 3 months ago, and she tried the foot bass, and 3 days later she was at my maker to get it, and 1 week later she was playing concert with the foot bass. So it's a lot of improvisations, and that's very nice, and she's an amazing flutist.
I have seen her videos. I've found her
Yeah,
through I think there's a Facebook appreciation group or something
yeah,
for the foot bass, and I found her in that. And yeah, the videos that she puts together of her music and the
yeah.
arrangements she does, and body percussion as well. Really
Yeah.
amazing
Very
artist.
nice. Yeah. Very
Yeah.
nice. And so we talk a lot together. She asked me some advices for the foot bass and the way to play, and so I had to think a bit about it. But for me, I just tried and put my feet like this, and but it was, yeah, a bit my way to play. There is no no book to say how to do. Maybe we
You
should.
can write it. You could be the writer
Yeah,
of
maybe,
the
maybe.
because I think we're all looking to you as the youngest, oldest person that we know playing it on the scene. Where have you found comfort in this instrument? Like, what's your sitting position? Like, where do you find it
Hmm.
fits under your feet? And
Well,
also coordinating it with the accordion as well.
at the beginning, I was sitting on the normal chair, and so my legs was too high for my accordions. My accordion was a bit up, not straight. For me, the best high of the chair is when my legs are flat.
Yeah.
So my feet are on the base, and the legs are flat. My accordion puff and straight, and that's the best way to play for me.
I'm taking notes. I will do this in
Yes.
future, so I don't like get tendonitis in my other leg, which would be
Mm.
horrendous.
Yeah.
But in terms of coordinate, I mean, you must be. It doesn't. You must not think about it now. But when you started to coordinate it with everything else that you're doing with the accordion, which, let's face it, does take quite an amount of practice to get all of that to go together with
Yeah.
the right hand and
That's
left hand. And if you're singing on top, that's something to think
mm.
about. But what was the process for you of getting the foot bass in with all of the other stuff that you're doing?
Yeah. You said before accordion, I played the drum and percussion. So that's the way. When I saw the foot bass, when I met the foot bass, I wasn't afraid to try to play on it, and I succeed very pretty fast to get something together with my accordion. The coordination, because I used to be a drummer, so I used to play with my feet, and to make some synchronizations of different things. So it was easier for me to start on it, and I met a lot of musicians who were very enthusiastic about foot bass, and when they tried, oh, it was too difficult, impossible to do something very coordinate. So they didn't go further with that project.
Yeah.
Just you try to play on it. It was not it wasn't so easy, but you try and you succeed to play on it. And the week after, you got a foot bass. You were amazing with that instrument. But for many musicians, also very brilliant musicians, it's not easy to play together the accordion and the foot bass, or the violin and the bass. So for me, it was easier to learn.
Yeah, I guess, you're used to playing with the whole of your body when you're a drummer. So I suppose that you had that as an imprint already.
Yeah, yeah.
I've got a video of me doing the very first time I played
Mm.
your accordion with your foot bass, and I was really surprised. I was like, oh my God, it doesn't feel as hard as I thought it would.
When I play the bass, I have to learn very quietly, very slowly, all the mechanics things where that bass has to come with the
Yeah.
notes, with the melody. Also the orchestration,
Mm.
it's not only play the bass in the same time that my left hand. It's not very interesting. That orchestrations take a while before to be interesting,
Yeah.
and then all the mechanics things very slowly. And when I have to play it on the gig, just disconnect my brain, and my feet go on
They
the
think for
right way.
themselves.
Like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. This is the thing I'm realizing. I keep it quite simple because I think for me, I've already realized that it was just an impulse purchase, that I just needed it to have a bit of a funny appeal in the music that I wanted to make. And I realized from watching you at Halsey and then the things that you've got online, there's obviously so much more that you can do with it, treating it as a whole separate section of
Yeah,
a pipe organ almost, in that sense, the foot pedals of a pipe organ, and you can
yeah.
really have lots of things going against what you're doing on the accordion.
Mm.
But that's where I realized that's going to be the effort, that's going to be where the hard work is. And at the moment, I'm not facing that, but I realize if I wanted to make it more special, that's what would be required. But I'm perfectly fine with it being the hilarious thing that just comes out for one or two things in a gig. And me and Vicky actually played a duet, which I know that you saw that
I
video.
saw
But
that.
we
Yeah.
were both teaching at an event in April, and yeah, we played a duet on one foot bass, and it was hilarious and worked beautifully. We thought,
Yeah,
apart from the tendonitis.
and my Belgian friend Marinette Bonnert was there, and
Yes.
she sent the video to me. Oh, there is a new foot bass player. Yeah, I know it's Mel. Yeah, she's
Uh,
amazing.
it was so wonderful to meet Annette. She was, gorgeous music. It was wonderful to hear the Wallonius music. I'd never heard that repertoire before. But yeah, we stayed together, and it was lovely to meet her. And she
Mm.
was very enthusiastic that there was foot bass being played.
Yeah,
You are tonight coming on my Patreon to offer a wonderful Melinar tutorial for people on there. A Melinar tutorial on fingering, phrasing, and accents, which you said when we were talking about setting it up. It's something that you always like to think about when you're teaching. It's something you like to highlight. It's an important part of you as a
yeah.
musician when you're putting music together. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you're planning on doing, but also why that is important to you when you're teaching? What is going through your head when you're thinking of those things?
How to start? Yeah, because uh, folk music, folk tunes are mostly very simple tunes. Two parts and around five notes. Something very very simple. A lot of people are boring to play that repertoire because it's not modern enough, maybe not enough chromatism, or not difficult enough for them. But I like to play very simple music, and to make them very interesting with all the small things we can put on these melodies. And for example, if you play something very in French we say pompier. A bit like that. Okay, it's maybe not interesting today, but with a very easy tune, just put some small notes, accent here or there, to play that note shorter, that note longer. It can create something very interesting. Also for beginners, for me, it's very important to, when you know three notes, to make music with those notes. Okay, so the interpretations is very important. The notes and the rhythm is one part of the music, maybe a small part of the music. All the small details, how you attack the notes, how you sustain the notes, how you stop the notes, the intensity, all the things are the real way of playing music for me.
Do you find when you're teaching a group in your academy or wherever you might be teaching, are these things that people find easy, or does it take maybe years before these things start to bed in?
Yeah, the biggest enemy is they are used to play in their way to play, sometimes with wrong habits and bad habits. So to go back and have the good fingering, sometimes very difficult. Yeah,
Yeah,
sometimes. But for the children, if they used to play with the good fingers, also the basses, it's okay that they don't okay, it's like this. Yeah, it's but for older people who play for 20 years with the a bad habits, it's very difficult to go back.
yeah, I find the same, and it's that thing of it's going to frustrate them, but it's like gently going with them through that process and sort of
Yeah,
telling them that it will be okay in the end. But
yeah, but sometimes, often they say to me, "Yeah, I want to follow some lessons because when I play, yeah, I don't find it's nice. I play the same tune than you, but it's not. It sounds not like you. How do you do that?" And sometimes with a few advices about how to play the notes in the in 5 minutes. Okay, now it can. I see the path, the way to make the music better.
yeah, I think this is the thing that giving people that key to unlocking what is hopefully their potential. I think with most people, it's just the recognition of what they need to do in order to make that happen. And then
Yeah.
the
Mhm.
happiness that they get from being able to do that is, I'll never get bored of that feeling of showing people how to do that. So when you are teaching, do you have an approach that you're always trying to aim for with students, or are you quite kind of just easy breezy, go with the flow of things, or do you go in with a mindset of, okay, here's the plan, and you walk them through that in stages over the time that you are with them?
Yeah, I like to. Well, it depends of the people, huh? But sometimes I show all what we can do the tune, and easy tunes are perfect to teach a lot of difficult technical things. So sometimes I show how I play a tune, and uh, and then I start very for the first note, first point, and go from point to point. And from the three first notes, we have to make music. And if it's a group, we make music together. It takes time also to learn by ear. But at the end, we were able to play together, really together, like a band playing together for 10 years, because we learned the same way to play. And at the end of a workshop, I invite always the people who play in a group to connect themselves with the way to play a tune. Not only the notes and the rhythm, but also the accents, the interpretation. Okay, that note shorter. Okay, we will all play that note shorter, and we will really play together. Even if it's a band with a fiddle, box, and guitar, okay, we have the same way to play the melody, and it can be great like this.
Mm.
The For me, the most difficult things in music is playing really together the same melody in the same way.
Yeah,
Because playing an arrangement with, okay, the guitar play the accompaniment, accordion the melody, the flute second voice, okay, that's maybe pretty easy. But playing together the same melody with the same accents and energy and interpretation, that's very difficult and
yeah,
takes time. And it's normal to take time for that.
yeah,
You have to be patient, and it's normal. You are not a zero. You are. It's normal.
yeah.
Okay, you have to take time for that.
I think as well, it's really it becomes a human thing in that sense of you have to know the people you're with and kind of feel a connection with them as people as well as musicians. Maybe that's just a personal thing, but I think that's an important part of ensemble playing is that
Yeah,
you're really thinking about the collective power of you as a group. But
it's also a question of confidence of
yeah,
of yourself, because if you don't feel confident, you can't make music. You have to, okay, you have one note to play it, just play it, and make music with that. And that's, yeah, confidence is very important.
Just before we connected, I said at the very beginning of the conversation that I just revisited the videos that Danielle had sent across of this 50-piece amazing orchestra, which has got a fairly hefty accordion section, but there are other instruments there too. And watching you conduct and kind of lead the piece that you were playing with them, I forget the name of it now, but I was really intrigued by the fact that you were playing as well as conducting, and just that so just completely at ease with the situation of giving people the cues needed for the arrangement, but also seeing their reaction to making that part of the arrangement happen because it was their job to do it. And there is that real sense of pride that you can see. Just talking about that in terms of community music, which is what Danielle is just so fantastic at, and you've been a huge part of that as well in your own walk of life, but also it's part of her ensemble. Is there something particularly special that you enjoy with making community music and working with community ensemble that you don't really get that anywhere else? What's your attraction to that particular type of
For me, to me, it's more than only music. It's human. Okay, it's just do something together, something positive, and share it with people who want to live it together. It could be cooking or playing games or something else, but create something together. And that orchestra, it's all very slow level, but all together they can make something very sensitive, and they are very happy to share it. So it works because they have the same way to play. We spent a lot of times only with accordions, for example, to work on the interpretation, that short note, that things, and it takes a long time. And Daniel do the job every week. I come three weekends a year, and she does the job the whole year. But it's a long way to have something together from that big orchestra. But just make something together.
I think on a human level, it's so important that people recognise that you don't have to be the best musician in the world. You don't have to be the best musician to do any kind of music if it's just social hobby. But particularly in that scenario where there are performances at the end of the year or throughout the year, it's about the effect that you all create, but also the confidence that you can share around, because there is that sense of pride of being part of something bigger, and that always brings out the best in people, and that's just always gorgeous to see when that happens. I think it's really special.
It's just like I said, for myself, when I play alone for silent movie, I have to be connected with the audience, with the moment, and anyway, I have more experience with my accordion, but it's the same. There's people succeed to be connected with the moment, and nothing more is needed to be great.
What happens when you can't connect? Have you gone through phases where life is busy, you've got a young family, so obviously there are lots of pressures in your life, or are you able just to go, no, I'm working now, and cut that out, and then you can focus?
Yeah, sometimes when I'm tired, it happens, yeah. When it's for a Balfolk, I often get a lot of energy from the dancers, so I don't feel don't feel tired anymore. It's I remember once I was in Genetin, le Grand Bal de l'Europe, with Shillelagh. It's always a very big ball, and I go there every year now for 20 years. But it's always special because it's a special festival with a very high level of dancers. And once I was very tired, and it was in the middle of the summer, and I was in my car. I have to play at 1 a.m. It was very late. And I remember I was walking to the festival, and I heard the sound of the festival. Oh no, I don't want to go there. Very, very tired. And I came on the stage, and I saw people very enthusiastic to get Shillelagh, to welcome Shillelagh. What? And the first notes, all the people on the dance floor. And I got that much energy that I started to
You
to
weeped.
cry a little. Yeah,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
too much emotion, and it was very nice. And yeah, and since then I didn't feel the tired because it was so nice to be together. So it was very nice to get that energy from the audience at that moment. Or sometimes I can just do my job, yeah, disconnect my mind, just play what I can play, not, yeah, it will be okay. Also for the silent movies, uh, I can play it, so yeah, a bit more mechanically, maybe,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's a way to protect myself.
Yeah, I think it's important, right? Because the job can be very emotional. You know, it's in certain circumstances. So, in order to kind of, like you say, protect yourself, it's
Yeah,
recognizing that you can just be here. You can just do the job, but then there's obviously degrees
yeah,
above that that require more
yeah.
energy, or
That's my job. So every weekend, or sometimes, yeah, 2 times on per week, of so yeah, I have to play. But the organizer, that's their weekend. Sometimes they
yeah,
get a lot of money to organize something, and they are very enthusiastic, and they don't sleep for the whole weekend. Wah! And they have big energy, but that's their event for the year. But for me, it's every week like this. So I have to be as enthusiastic as them, but sometimes it's yeah, not easy to be that enthusiastic. But
I find that watching you perform at Halsey, there was a tutors concert, and I could sort of see the transformation from Benjamin as tutor to Benjamin as performer, and I read into your performance as kind of quirky and theatrical, a little bit like a mime artist. There were like elements of you just kind of coming to sit down that people laughed at because you did it in a way that just invited a kind of collective, oh, he's going to be, he's fine, he's relaxed, he's having a good time, he's having a funny laugh at everything. And there was something really nice about that. And I wonder whether you've always been a little bit theatrical in a comedic sense. It obviously goes with the territory of you working in theatre and in
ah,
cinema and that, but
no,
which one came first? Or
yeah,
how were you in as a child? Is that something that you
nah,
always had?
no. I think I was a bit shy as a child, but I think I got confidence with thanks to my music. I think when you come on a stage to show your music and to make people applaud you, you have to be a bit like this, yeah.
You
You know?
find a character. Yeah, I
Yeah, yeah.
agree.
So it's like, yeah, a character, but I want to be natural, not to
Mm.
be somebody else. So I think I'm the same in the real life than
I know
the
exactly
podcast.
what you're
Yeah.
trying to say. It's difficult to put a name to it, but I do exactly the same thing. Like it's that thing of if I'm performing, if I'm teaching even, I put on an extra high energy version of myself, which isn't necessarily in your face, but it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
my natural state is to be
Mm,
very reclined on the sofa, generally very chill. But
mm.
I don't see that as being something that people would pay for. So it's like if you're going to watch me perform, I'm going to be there having a good time with you, but I will
Mm.
be tired afterwards, usually, because
Yeah,
it just takes that extra. But that feels like what the job is. It's part of the job to do that. So I totally understand.
yeah. But I had to learn it yeah, to let the fear go away, just to be very concentrated. And if I'm not concentrated before to come on stage, uh, I won't be connected to the
Yeah.
people, I think.
Does that fear still come back for you, or any kind of an amount of nerves if you're not connected, if you're not kind of in the zone?
Yeah, I want to be concerned by the moment, so to feel
Yeah.
concerned by the moment. And if I'm not, yeah, it's yeah, a bad sign.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm mostly connected to the moment, because that's I can't play otherwise, that way to play. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not. I don't feel stressed to feel that fear coming before playing. because that's the good sign that I will be connected with the people.
That's going to help so many people just to hear that, I think. So thank you for sharing that. I think for me, as a professional, I've always tried to share that with my students, that process of becoming professional, because it wasn't ever something that I actively did. It sort of just happened, which is a weird thing in itself. But, you just play with people, socially, and then you get noticed and asked if you wanted to make a band, and you say yes, and then, oh, I'm on a big stage and, oh crap, I need to deal with this now. So you find a way through. And I think that for people who, even in a small way, maybe at their local club, are just getting up and playing a few tunes, or
But also just to play for the family, to play alone.
Yeah,
it just
it's
get
the
fun
same thing.
to play, to be confident, and
Yeah.
don't forget, you have to be patient to make something very nice. A lot of people learn a lot of tunes just for the pleasure to play a lot of things, but it takes time to really play some things. So it's, and for everybody is the same. You have to be confident with that, and patient.
I think that's a great way to finish on some really great advice.
The advice of Uncle Ben. Yeah.
Uncle Ben on his foot bass and accordion, just kind of, brilliant. Thank you so much for
You're
coming
welcome.
on and offering this
Pleasure.
interview. Really enjoyed talking to you, particularly about the theatre work, and hopefully I might get to see some. I don't know, are there any videos or anything online that people can watch or listen to you? Just take a little moment here to let us know where we can find you.
On my website for my company, there are different shows, and so you can see some teasers from every show.
Great. I'll make sure that those are
Videos.
linked down below. So if you want to see those, you can go and find Ben's work online. And I will leave websites to your links to your website and your Facebook and things like that as well, because you've got lots of brilliant videos. Your YouTube channel looks hilarious, I have to say. There's lots of really funny, quirky little videos and brilliant musical overlays that you made during lockdown and things. So do go and check all of that out. If you are interested in taking part in Ben's Melinar tutorial, it is live tonight, which you will have missed the live, but you can get the recording via my Patreon, and there will be a link directly to that post down below. So check that out if you're interested in that. Just to say thank you very much to Ben again.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Bye bye.
And wasn't that just delightful? I'm so grateful to Benjamin for coming on and contributing to this podcast, to this Patreon archive of folk music education resources. And I really appreciated getting to know him much, much better and having the time to really go into some details. So I hope you enjoyed listening to that too. This month on my Patreon, I've got the fantastic Hazel Askew. She's going to be doing a Melinar for me on accompanying singers or songs. There's going to be lots of information there if you are interested in song accompaniment on whatever instrument it might be. She's going to be on the Melodeon, but there's going to be lots of information there for you as a folk musician if you are somebody who's interested in accompanying singers, songs, arranging for songs, that kind of stuff. She is one of the best people I could possibly think of to be involved with that kind of stuff. So absolutely get involved. You need to sign up to the Archangel or above tier on my Patreon to take part in that Melinar. She's going to be joining me on Wednesday the 24th of July, 7 p.m. UK time. You can join live on Zoom via the Zoom link that gets posted out to my Patreon, or if you can't catch the live, then you will be able to catch up with the recording in your own time. Just a huge shout out to all my Patreon supporters. We're halfway through season 1 of Chatterbox now, and I just could not do this without you. I am very, very grateful for all of your support over there, and I am so happy to be providing amazing content that I'm really proud of, but also get so much incredible feedback from. So thank you so much for supporting my Patreon. There are tiers starting from as little as £3 a month, and there's content available at every level. Or if you're not able to become a subscriber at this time, totally understand, but a like, a share, a comment all goes so far to help support my work online in the folk music education sector. So thank you so much to everybody who does support that work. I hope that you find value in it and that you enjoy it. And yeah, just go tell your friends. That would be the best thing. Leave a review on Apple and Spotify. 5 stars would be amazing. It helps the algorithm to know that this is worth putting out there. And on YouTube, if you're watching, hi, you can see my face. You can subscribe to my channel. There's loads of free educational content over there, tunes, vlogs of my own learning journey, and all of these podcasts as well. That's all from me this month. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you again next month. Cheers, guys. Bye.